Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Expendable Show. I'm your host, the Expendable. That's my new Expendable song. But today we have the always lovely Kamala Harris, which is Shauna, really, but she has Kamala Harris hair now.
No, her hair looks better. Look at
And then we have my lovely sister-in-law, Nicole. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
nice to be on.
All right, fantastic. You're going to be famous today.
Yeah,
For all
we'll
my
see.
51 subscribers in climbing.
We'll see what happens to your podcast after my episode.
Yeah, it's gonna skyrocket. But today's episode is gonna be is gonna be more of like a town hall, and when Shauna officially gets off work, she'll jump in a little bit more. But we're gonna cover her, which is I chose to call her Kamala Harris because we're gonna have a Kamala Harris discussion today. So actually, Nicole gave me the idea, and she's like, we should talk about Kamala Harris because I'm just sick of her, right, Nicole?
Yes, and I'm really sick and tired of hearing we need to vote for Kamala because she's a woman. So we need to get in depth on some information about who Kamala is.
Right. So and to jump into that part of it, what we were just talking about before we went live was that the Democrats' major, like, it seems like their only talking point on her is she's a woman and she's black, so you should vote for her. Mm-hmm. And that's not how democracy works. For one, I have a huge issue with her, not just because of who she is, but how she is. So Biden steps aside and they just appoint Kamala Harris as the candidate and give her all the delegates. That is not how democracy works. There's going to be some serious issues with this if this goes much further, because she was not elected by her Democratic peers. She was appointed. We don't appoint presidential candidates. That's not how our system is set up. So that's going to be problem number one.
100%.
Yeah, I don't understand how they think they can just get away with that. There's going to be lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit.
Regardless of what party you are, there's a process in place regardless, and there's a reason for that. So what we should have done is we should have allowed the Democrats to come up and vote somebody in that they saw better fit. And that should be red flag number one as to how she was just slid right into that role.
Right. Because what if Mayor Pete wanted to run for president? Or, somebody, Shapiro from Pennsylvania. What if some of these other guys wanted to shoot their shot and go, you know what, I think I can beat Kamala in a primary, but they're not going to get that opportunity because they just appointed her, which is highly unconstitutional. So,
I agree.
But if nobody contests it on the Democrat side, then Kamala's just going to get away with it. So,
and there's a reason why they're getting away with it too, also.
Right. There always is a reason. So just to clarify the Democrats' position that Kamala Harris was not the border czar. She was, and they have a document called House Resolution 253. In House Resolution 253, Joe Biden specifically refers to Kamala Harris as the border czar, and her job is to fix the border. Now, Kamala, in her own plan, said, I'm going to go to Central America and find out what the root causes are. So she went down there. We all know she did. And then we never heard anything about it. It just disappeared. Well, I found that in May, she finally released a report. The White House releases a report. She went down there in 2021. And we're just now getting her report because they know the border's a problem. So now they have to show that, hey, Kamala did go down there and do something. Mm-hmm. But when you look at that report that is published on whitehouse.gov, that you can see that she basically went down there and gave Guatemala a bunch of money and came back. There's nothing in her plan that describes why the migrants are leaving Guatemala. She went down there and she gave all her billionaire friends opportunities, literally, like she handed out money to giant corporations and said, here, build businesses down here on the federal government. And our taxpayer money paid for that. And then she issued a report and said, look at all this stuff I did down here. Okay, well, the 2021, what happened to the immigration after that? Oh, 10 million people crossed our border from the time you came back from Guatemala to now.
She did make that video.
Kamala.
She made the video, though. Please do not come. So that was the one other thing she did, too.
When you think about it, it was better than Joe Biden's video against Iran and was just, don't. So her video was a little bit better than Joe Biden's. Like when they put their foot down, they put their foot down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so let's go through and we'll talk about some of Kamala Harris's platforms, because she's a new candidate. And basically, you know, when you're vice president, you just basically are going to do whatever, you know, the president's plan is, and you're going to be appointed certain tasks, just like Kamala Harris was the border czar that they now say she's not, but she is. Then they turned her into the AI person. And I think that was when she went into her school bus rant and when she went into her round table thing with those kids and was like, you're going to be able to see the craters on the moon. And it was like the worst acting job ever.
Oh my God.
This is what we do on this show. I do whatever I want.
Lord.
Right, Shauna? She gets it. Shauna is the victim every single show. You look like Kamala Harris.
She does not.
She knows. So let's get into Kamala Harris. Who is Kamala Harris and what does she stand for? So Axios is basically reporting that, and you know, I did it on purpose. I pulled from liberal news media outlets just because their words and they can eat them. So instead of, you know, cherry picking from, you know, Fox and Newsmax and, you know, the conservative ones, I went straight to the liberal media and said, what do they say that they say? Right. Because that's the gatekeepers of liberalism. So Axios reported that Harris's plan is to finish Joe Biden's progressive agenda, verbatim. So that if you guys were mad at Joe and Joe Biden's economy, and her plan is to finish Joe Biden's plan, which was digging us into the hole in the ground. So just because we changed candidate, it doesn't mean it's going to change the plan, and the plan is not going to change. They have made it very clear.
Which is why she was slid right into that role, because she's going to do what they want to do.
And they do basically think the same way. Just Kamala, we're going to find out here in a little bit, is a little bit more extreme on things.
Yes, very.
So she did have a stance, kind of, on offshore drilling and fracking. As we know, fracking is a huge, huge deal for Pennsylvania. That is one of their largest, economic, commodities there is fracking. It's a big thing there. She's gone back and forth on that, depending upon how it affected Joe Biden's polling. So at first she was like, I'm anti-fracking and offshore drilling, because that appealed to the younger voters, because they don't want to see all that, because they're all obsessed with the Green New Deal and how we need to save the planet. Because when Joe Biden first became president, he said the planet's going to blow up like any day. And here we are 3.5 years later, the planet is still fine.
Yeah.
Think about that. The planet's still fine. We're not all exterminated yet. And here in Atlanta, I don't know how it is. I don't know how it is up there in Ohio, but you can tell it's summertime in Atlanta because if you drive along the highways, you will see mattresses on the side of the highway. So we have our mattress collection on all the highways going in and around Atlanta. So that's how you know it's summertime around here. And it's like a thing I noticed when I moved down here. I'm like, why the hell are all these mattresses on the side of the highway? Do the rednecks here not know how to strap a mattress down to their truck or what? But they're there. They stay there. They don't move them. They just leave them. And so, you know, our share of littering has not slowed down. So Atlanta should just be a giant smog ball, but it's not. If you climb to the top of Stone Mountain, you can see clearly in every direction. It's actually a really beautiful view of things. But anyway, Kamala Harris doesn't want she doesn't want to do fracking. She doesn't want to do offshore drilling. But then polling went bad, and then she said, "Well, you know, fracking's okay, and so is offshore drilling." Well, then it made the young base of the party mad. So then she went right back to it, said, "Wow, I'm against fracking and oil offshore drilling." So here we don't really know. While she's making the rules, we don't really know what she stands for on that. And if I remember correctly, Joe Biden had that same problem when he was running for president. He was going back and forth on the drilling and fracking, and then ultimately he shut it down. So when it comes to that, you can't really gauge anything out of that with Kamala Harris because of her flip-flopping on her usage of natural resources. She also was quoted as saying that more police on the streets is wrong.
Of course. Yes. Yep. Because police are the problem.
And of course that she stated that around the times of the Floyd situation where every liberal in America was going, "Oh, we can't have these police. They're horrible. Let's take them off the streets." And then crime went, pew! And then they're like, "Oh, our constituents don't feel safe in our cities anymore. We should probably put some cops out there." Well, too late. They had destroyed the integrity of every police officer in America. So now their recruitment is down and they can't get people to try to be cops.
Nope.
So they screwed the entire law enforcement community up at the lower levels with all the stupidity that they were doing at that time. And you know what? There's bad apples. You're not every cop's going to be the most pure-hearted Barney Fife kind of cop. You know, you have some bad ones. You know, they're working double shifts.
Yeah.
And
bad people in every
when you're surrounded, right. And in law enforcement, when you're surrounded by evil all the time, you absorb some of that. And the fact that they don't provide, especially in the big cities, they do not provide enough mental health resources for the cops. For one, because they don't have time to go do them because they're working double shifts all the time to cover for the cops that they can't hire. So there's that issue. And I could go on and on and on about that. But she was highly anti-police there for a while. So we do know that. And she's never really changed her position on that. So I really do believe that she believes that, even though she was a district attorney and attorney general of California, you would think that she would want to have a better relationship with law enforcement because they're the ones who provide the cases that she was supposed to try. So, so I have a tough time with her on that. Like, I think she's
against cops.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice.
I know, but she's against cops.
I'm trying to do what Donald Trump did and just be nice.
I'll be the counterpart. I'll be the bad person because I'm a woman and I said so. There you go.
Okay, well you can because I'm trying to follow Donald Trump's advisors and be nice. Donald Trump, he said he's not going to be nice.
No.
Yeah. So shout out to Dad. He's watching. He's Nicole.
I'll be the bad cop. You can be the good cop. There you go. We're good.
Okay. So healthcare is something that Kamala Harris does talk about a lot. So now you're in the healthcare field, right, Nicole?
I am. I went to school to become a medical assistant. And I also just want to give a little piece of background that I don't really like to tell people. but I was a Democrat. So this is coming from somebody who was a Democrat and then switched over. So I do work in healthcare. And I do remember when Obamacare came out, I was like, oh, this is going to be great, fantastic. I have actually seen the negative effects with Obamacare. I saw the skyrocketing prices with insulin. Good. I saw patients that were having to stretch their medication that they needed to live on because they couldn't afford it because of Obamacare. So I saw it all, and I still continue to see the effects to this day, and we're 2024.
Well, the first thing I want to say to that is about you being a former Democrat is, sometimes, to recover, you have to admit you have a problem. So I applaud you for your rehabilitation. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I can see her.
And when you gonna do that?
Never.
Talking about somebody else. Mad. Oh my God. Hello, Kettle. Like, oh Lord have mercy.
She's gonna light you up.
Be quiet, Kamala. I know she does that. She's gonna be yelling at me. But so now going into her policy, now hearing what you say, like I've always heard, because I've never had to use Obamacare or anything. I've never even tried. I'm not familiar with how Obamacare works. So I'm glad that you have a familiarity with that, because you'll be able to speak on it and I won't. But they swear it's the greatest thing ever. You heard Biden, he's so proud of it. Obama was so proud of it. But then when you hear Kamala Harris talk about Obamacare, she's like, oh, Trump's going to take this. What? I thought Obamacare was like the greatest insurance policy on the planet. Why is she not championing that?
Because it doesn't
talking
work.
About making changes to the healthcare system. And, well, I thought Obamacare was the bee's knees. Why are we changing it? Because it must not be.
Awful.
I've heard a lot of people say it's not.
It's not. It definitely caused some horrific situations for a lot of people out there that did buy into the positive that they were trying to push. They thought it would be this great thing, and it sadly was not. It's worse, in my opinion. It's worse than paying for your private owned insurance. It's just the prices are astronomical. It's insane.
Right. So we're going to hold that thought and we're going to come back to it. So one of her ideas for insurance is to abolish employee-sponsored health insurance. So whatever your company provides, she wants to get rid of that and everybody go on universal health care.
No.
That's obviously a huge socialist plan. That's what socialists want. They want everybody on the government's, control, so they can, continually find other programs to control you with. Healthcare is the first one they always go after because it's an easy one to get you used to complying with the government. She wants to get rid of private insurance in its entirety. So you will have no choice but to use government funded insurance. So I have, but she also does not have a plan as to what she would put in instead. So, other than some government plan that she doesn't describe what it will do. I absolutely do not like that idea. Obviously, we're Americans. We're used to freedom. We're used to having choices and options so we can make the best educated decision based upon what our family needs are. So
right.
Now going back to what you were talking about, Nicole, with Obamacare. So you said that the insurance ended up being unaffordable, right?
Yes. The insurance, so the prices, the stuff that people would have to go through to insurance. So whenever you get a medication or you need like a CT or you need like a CPAP machine or something, it always, and you have insurance, it always bills through the insurance first. And depending on what your insurance plan is, it gives you how much your stuff is going to cost you. So for Obamacare, with a lot of the patients that were with medications and stuff, they started to see their medications that they needed to be on for life-saving situations go to the point to where it was just something that they couldn't afford. So if you start to do that and put everybody and transfer everybody over onto a government funded insurance, they can say, no, we're not going to cover this, or yes, we're going to cover this. And then they'll set a price. So it's not going to be like the Medicaid thing. That's not what Kamala's wanting to do. She's wanting to set a standard where everybody could be on insurance, which is what everybody wants in that Democrat mindset, share the wealth kind of thing. So they're thinking that, oh, everybody's going to have insurance. This is going to be great. No, it's not. Because like you said, my needs are going to be different than your needs. I have 3 young children. Right. I have one that has, asthma, allergies, that kind of thing. So my need for insurance based on him alone is going to be different versus somebody who's a 50-year-old man in good health. So why are we setting like a strict guideline for insurances when not every single person has the same situation?
Right.
And then you run into people not being able to afford stuff. Right.
So like I would get penalized because I have relatively good health compared to somebody who has 15 kids and half of them have medical issues. So my premium, they would probably raise the premium up overall, right? And so it would end up being unaffordable for people because they would have to cover the expense of the people with the more severe, the 60-year-old lady who smoked 100 Pall Malls a day and has got lung cancer everywhere. Everybody else is going to get penalized for that.
Well, and you could also get penalized for not going in and doing your yearly checkups. Because let's be honest, if you're in good health and nothing's bothering you, are you going to pay $75 to go into a doctor's office and just for them to tell them, yep, you're good? 9 out of 10 times, people aren't going to do that.
Right. If you had good health, there should be a different program. 100%. For people who, I know there's random things that can come up that are unexpected that you're having good health isn't going to stop it. Mm-hmm. But, overall there would be something like I shouldn't have to, pay $800 a month for health insurance. And I know Obamacare is expensive. I was looking up some of the premiums. It's up there. Now, when you run a socialist, insurance plan like that. Here's something that I've learned from Europe, because Europe has pretty much a universal healthcare system. What happens is over there, everybody has health insurance there. However, what happens is the insurance companies cap the amount of money that providers can spend or can charge.
Yep.
So let's say you're the top brain surgeon in Europe. And the government comes in and says, well, you're not going to get your worth. We're going to pay you like the worst. Everybody's going to make the same. All you doctors are. That top brain surgeon is going to go, well, I'm going to go to another market where I can get paid what I'm worth. I didn't go to college for 8 years and be the top of my class to have somebody say, well, you can only make this amount of money. So they leave the country and they go to a fair market country that will allow them to achieve a level of success that they expect of themselves. Because when you're at the top of your class or in the top 10% of your medical school, you want to be exceptionally treated. You want all the hard work that you put in, you want it to come out to benefit you. And so the top doctors in Europe leave. And so they end up with mediocre doctors. So that would be like going to London and you have to have brain surgery, but the only surgeon there is Dr. Jill. Like, do you want Dr. Jill doing brain surgery on you? No. And that's what you would be left with. You would be left with the middle of the pack surgeons.
I get what you're saying.
The best surgeons left.
And what you're saying is correct. So
that was a good one. I think it's not.
I do have experience with that too. So, like, you know, at one point in time, I was on government assistance. Not Dr. Jill. Shut up, Eric. Government assistance. It's true though. Like, if you have specific doctors that you have to go to for your insurance, and let's be honest, government funded insurance don't pay that great, and you're not going to get the great care for somebody who takes like a government issued insurance only versus somebody who takes private or something else, because like you said, they pay. So that is not going to work. The idea is great. I get it. Like, everybody should
you want everybody
have health insurance.
People have health insurance issues.
Yeah.
Like, there's some people who can't afford health insurance and they need it. So there is a problem there.
We have a problem.
But a socialist program is not the way. They need to come up with tiered systems. Like, you know, if they want to give a voucher and say, here, you're in a low income area, here, we'll cut you a discount on health insurance. Like, there's other ways to do it besides saying, give the government full control over your health insurance and we'll take care of you. But anytime the government tells me, hey, we'll take care of you, they're not going to take care of you. Just like the VA. They don't take care of the vets. We'll take care of you. Soldier, come on home. Oh, nope, we're not going to take care of you. It was just a trick.
Yep. And that's kind of what started my transition from Democrat to Republican. Is that right there? Is that we'll take care of you like this. Right. And then reality sinks in and it's like, wait, what you said, but what you're doing is not matching with what you said. So Right.
I mean, and that's a government overall. Like, the rhinos were the same. They were playing the same card. And, you know, it's these new, you know, everybody wants to hate on the MAGA ones, but they're the only ones speaking any sense in Congress right now. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene was a QAnon for a while. And I know Shauna doesn't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though you guys have the same hairstyle.
Oh, my God.
She's very disrespectful, but we're not going to get into that.
I'm not, you know, it's funny because I told my husband, I'm married.
She's gotten better.
You know, she has, but there's some things that I don't agree with that she says either. And I'm like, I like you, but could you like reel it in a little bit? Like, stop. Like, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. Quit it.
She handles herself very poorly.
She's outlandish at times.
She can be, yeah.
She's one of the reasons why they say women can't be president, because she's too emotional when she's in Congress.
I agree with you on that. There's no way I'm Marjorie
like
Taylor
she's like the prime example of why men don't want women like in higher positions, because she does too much.
Shauna, you got a point, because if you want a woman president, you can't be emotional.
When she's right, and when she knows she's right, and she will stand on that business until you kill her. And that's one thing that I do like about her.
But it's still a way to go about it. Acting erratic and disrespecting people and the rules of the room that you worked hard to get in and be a part of. That doesn't.
I couldn't be in Congress. I would get kicked out every day in Congress. Every time Alex Schiff looked at me, I would want to rip his face off.
That guy looks funny. I'm just saying. Like
what are you looking at, dude? I will come all the way to California to kick your ass, Shifty Schiff.
I mean, there's a way that you can stand on your beliefs firmly and do it in a way that people are going to respect you for it. Like, I have some issues with her. Overall, I agree with a lot of things that she says and does, but I do agree with what Shauna's saying too.
Right.
It's just the way to go.
Okay, so moving on, we could make fun of. Okay, we're not going to make fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene anymore. That's my girl. Anyway.
This is the expendable show, Shauna. I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
So in 2017, Kamala Harris co-sponsored a Medicare for All bill with the great socialist Bernie Sanders. So she says, now this is important. The way that they worded this is important. They said every individual who is a resident, notice it doesn't say citizen, it says resident of the United States, including undocumented immigrants. So they want to make our taxpayer money pay for all the immigration that comes through here on their health care. We can't even afford our own health insurance. Now we have to pay for the immigrants' health insurance.
And that's the reason why they're coming over here too. Is like
huge. That's no for me. That's 30 minutes and we're done with my first note card.
We're not going to, we need to do a part 2.
I might do like part 4 probably.
Probably.
She continues down throughout her timeline, being in Senate and vice president, where she constantly is talking about cutting private insurance out. That's a big one. But then she got some blowback from Michael Bloomberg, who's a big Democrat, and he's a billionaire. He ran for president against Biden in the last election, in the Democrat primary. And he brought up a good point when against Kamala and Bernie in 2019. He said to replace the entire private system where companies provide health care for their employees would bankrupt the U.S. for a very long time. So then after Michael Bloomberg said that, Harris changed her mind and said, that's not really what I meant. She said it was in the context of saying, let's get rid of all the bureaucracy and insurance and get rid of all the waste. Like,
share the wealth.
Man, that is not even close to what you said.
Right.
It's not even close to what you said.
Yep.
But Michael Bloomberg, who's got power in the Democrat Party, more power than Kamala Harris, makes a statement like that, and then she's got to go along with it. So there we go, more of the flip-flopping. She just does what the power brokers of her party want.
Exactly, which is one of the biggest reasons we shouldn't vote. Nobody should be voting for her. That's
a huge red flag. I 100% agree with you. That's a huge red flag. We can't have a president that's just going to bow down to the biggest power in the room. So what happens when she goes up against Xi Jinping in China? She's going to come back and go, me and Xi, we had a great time. And, we're just going to let the Red Army come right on in because he asked really nice. They want California. I said, California's a great place to be. Come have it. I would give China California at this point. Hey.
He can't hear you because I got my headphones in.
There's my brother. You're on TV.
Yeah, you're actually showing now. Well, I got
blurred out. And then during the Democratic debate, when Kamala was on there, she was getting interviewed after this. Back, I believe, but she was getting interviewed by Lester Holt, and or it was during the Democrat debate. Lester Holt said, "Raise your hands for abolishing private health care for the government." And Kamala and Bernie Sanders were the only ones that raised their hand. So then she went back to that after she flip-flopped on Michael Bloomberg. Then she flip-flopped back. Okay, so we got through that note card pretty quick. We're on a better pace.
We're not gonna be able to get through all your dang note cards, man. So you're gonna have to stop at
one point. 15 minutes.
Give me and Shauna a chance to talk.
Okay, you guys can talk.
No, okay. Just let him do his thing. Let him do his rants like per usual. Just let him get it out.
They're fat.
So he kind of tires himself out. Then you kind of get in where you fit in.
She doesn't know. She hasn't. Yeah. Shauna's not an expert in the.
We're getting like 5 in the order tonight, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Make coffee. So then on the very next day, after that debate, she gets interviewed on MSNBC, and they asked her, which the interviewer was Willie Guest, and he asked her the same question, and Kamala Harris says, "I don't want to get rid of private health care," and so she flip-flopped again. Like that was like 5 flip-flops on healthcare. So she just says, I think whoever's standing in the room, that's what she goes with. And that's not good. That's not good to have a president like that.
No, because all it's doing is there's a higher power and she's the puppet. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's blatantly obvious with her that's how that works.
Like you can't even hide it.
It's probably Montel Williams. Montel Williams is running the country. I saw the pictures. He had his
I
hand
saw
behind
pictures
her
too.
back. So that
Oh,
could have
yeah.
been like, what? That's like a puppet master move right there. Like he had his hand in her back and was like making her
I
talk.
Definitely would
ventriloquist.
not. I would not say it's Montel Williams. My personal opinion, it's the Obama. Barack is still running the show. 100%.
You know what? He's made it. He's kind of showed himself, I think, with this since Joe Biden walked away. The deciding factor came down to Barack Obama, and then to appoint Kamala, it came down to Barack Obama, and then he stalemated his support for her for a few days after the fact to make it not like make it look like, well, I've been thinking about it, and me and Big Mike, we decided that we're gonna endorse Kamala. And so Barack and Big Mike decided to endorse Kamala.
Yep.
No reaction.
I mean,
I was going to get a reaction. Usually when I say Big Mike, I get mad. I see that.
See, she's shaking her head. She's got more important stuff to do than listen to you.
The way white people are so easily okay with disrespecting black people is crazy.
So what?
And then she walked away.
That's what I do.
You make
I only pick on Michelle because Michelle definitely could potentially be a different gender.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't have any facts on that.
I'm not even talking about the Michelle thing. We're not going to go down that road. But I will say the whole thing with Barack, like I was all for it. I was like, yes, like we've got an African American president, like we're doing this. I thought it was a great thing until he was elected. And then things started to change in my personal life.
Yeah.
That because of the policies he put in play is what got me thinking.
Right.
So
but when me as a Republican my whole life, I looked at it and I thought, man, I said this guy he's a speaker. He speaks well on TV. He's easy to understand. I thought this guy's he's going to be a problem. And because he is very well educated, he's very well versed. And so he was a tough one to beat. And we didn't. The Republicans did not beat him. And he's got that like charisma, that leadership charisma that we didn't have an answer for.
I got the impression like
dude,
2008. So I was I graduated in 2006. So I was about 20 years old. So whenever I saw him talk, it was like I was talking. It was like a friend was talking to me. Like I was able to see where he was coming from. He understood me, understood my life. And that's the thing that is gonna, regardless, it's gonna, if that connection happens with voters, it's game over. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because
Obama was a special kind of, he was special though. I think Obama was a special kind of leader for that at that time. And he fit what was going on at that time. And he is a special kind of leader. But that Kamala don't have that. She don't have that like that likable charisma that Barack Obama had. And so they basically have kind of the same thought process, but Obama knew how to work crowd. He knew how to work his constituents. I don't think Kamala has quite. Yeah, I mean he did, but I don't think Kamala understands how to do that yet. And she's just on today. I forget where she was at, but she was up there laughing again, and on a serious topic, like on a national stage. Like, oh man, you got to take something serious in your life.
Yeah, I mean, and what's funny though is the media lately, the past 2 days, I've seen it personally, like just on my Instagram feed and stuff. They're really pushing her and saying, "Oh, she," and don't get me wrong, she is a challenge because she is a woman. Like a lot of people are like, "I don't care what she stands for. She's a woman. We need a woman." But
that's
if
the
you
problem.
like,
we can't.
you cannot vote based off of somebody just being a specific race or specific color or specific, whatever. Like they have to be able to bond with the voters at the time of what's going on, and they need to be able to tell what they're going to do in office, what their plans are for. And the biggest things right now are the border and all of the chaos that's going on. Like, for instance, Hamas going in, screwing up our monuments and stuff. That's not okay. Like, I don't care what you say or how you feel, what side of the field you're on. That is a part of our history as Americans. And if you seriously are going to go and support a terrorist group and vandalize our stuff and torch our flag, I'm sorry, but your ass needs to go get arrested and you need to be shoved somewhere else. Let's ship you over to Gaza.
Because generally people
like that.
Yeah, generally people that support terrorist organizations in the United States usually get investigated by the FBI or Homeland Security, but they have done nothing to those people. Nothing.
No. And it's just to further divide. That's all it is.
Yeah, everybody in ISIS in this country got nabbed up and sent to Guantanamo. Everybody, every single one of them, they nabbed them all up.
And it's not happening because it's
no Hamas people ever get detained for a long period of time.
Well, it's because it's fitting their narrative. They want us divided because, if we are together as a country, we're dangerous. But if you have that division, whether it be, racial or, the whole transgender, LGBTQI plus AZY, I don't know anymore. It's just, it's further causing that division. And then that's when people's emotions get elevated, and it's not going to go well. It really is.
Well, me and Shauna, we've talked about that on the show before, where they've created like a modern day segregation, where all these groups have their own little place in the world, and the government does everything they can to keep these groups by themselves.
100%.
Yeah. And that inclusion is fine. Like, for everybody to be accepted, I'm all for that. I think people should feel safe and feel accepted for who they are here. However, you can't push everybody in their own corner and expect them all to get along, because then they don't learn each other. They don't learn. Nobody
and they don't
anything.
have that open mind. So, and that's part of the reason why I was like, we really need to do some shows on who Kamala is, get to know her, get to what she stands for, which we can all agree that there's really nothing that we can say that she stands for, because she flip-flops all the time.
Well, we're going to talk about her foreign policy right now.
Oh, God.
Kamala's foreign policy. She's going to continue Biden's foreign policy. First statement from Politico. She's going to support the Ukraine. She's going to support all of our alliances in Asia, whoever they are. Support Israel. She's going to apply more sympathy for Palestine. She doesn't really have a background in defense or foreign policy. That's a fact. She's been a career lawyer. Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand foreign policy. I don't think she understands like who the main players are and how to play them. And even the White House admitted that, when Kamala was vice president, they kind of kept her out of foreign policy because of her inexperience in foreign policy. So, they didn't really prep her all that well for this kind of thing. She does have a strong stance against Benjamin Netanyahu. She wants to change policy to allow more human rights for the Palestinians. She supported the 2015 plan that Barack Obama started to basically to monitor Iran's nuclear program, which was basically kind of a, hey, if you guys have nuclear stuff, just don't tell us. That's kind of basically how that went. She was against when Trump killed Soleimani. She did not like that, even though the guy was he's like a murderer. like of hundreds of people, probably thousands. She wanted to block military actions against Iran. For that, she supports the Uyghurs in China, which I support that. I think what China did to them is atrocious. She doesn't have a real plan for China at all. She doesn't know what to do. There's no like, hey, we're gonna put pressure on this and this and this. It's the only thing I could find online about her China plan was there isn't one. So
until somebody brings
no
it
Russia
up.
plan, no China plan.
Right.
Suck ass to Iran. That was on there. We're gonna be friends with Iran. So that's her international plan, and that scares the hell out of me because if she gets elected, we're gonna have some serious national security issues. Because if she appoints people like how Biden has appointed people in our intelligence community, we're gonna have even more problems because Biden picks very, very badly. People like Merrick Garland, people like Blinken, and those guys are bad for our country. They never tell the truth. They avoid questioning in Congress. They don't give American people the answers that they need. And they don't hold anybody accountable for anything. So that's the problem.
And a lot of the places that she's like with Iran, supporting Iran and then Palestine and then, supporting Israel all of a sudden and denouncing Hamas. It's like there's a lot of like, what? Like you can't support one and then support the other two because you're not picking a side. And we're at the point in our country and the situations you have to pick a side. Like that's just where we're at right now.
Yeah, you do.
Unfortunately. And Ukraine needs to go. Stop sending money to Ukraine. Like stop it. We need to worry about our Americans and our vets first before we send money to whatever Zelensky or whatever the hell he is. No, we need to stop. Like
he's an actor. He's a really bad actor.
Oh my God. Have you seen the videos that's been coming out from Ukraine? Like nightlife videos?
What are they? They're out there partying in Kiev, aren't they?
Yeah. So it's
like nothing's going on.
Right. Like, what are you doing? How are you partying out the streets?
They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. All the fighting's happening on the eastern part of the Ukraine. So because Putin don't want no part of Kiev. He just wants the eastern part of Ukraine to have their own sovereignty away from everybody. And so Zelensky knows that. So it's business as usual on the western part of the Ukraine.
But please send us more money.
We're getting scammed in Ukraine.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. They put videos up and they go, look at American people. We're getting bombed, but we're partying every night. Send us $40 billion.
It's 5:00 somewhere. Let's go.
I'm going to start making videos and sending them to Kamala Harris and go, hey, we're getting bombed over here in Locust Grove. Send me $40 billion. She's going to go, oh, it's atrocious. We better help them. They don't have $40 billion. I'm just going to make a video out of some like little army guys and just start blowing them up with firecrackers. Look, my neighborhood's getting bombed.
And we're all dressed like green people.
Yeah. So Kamala Harris has an education plan for our children. So our children can be so smart. So America, in the research of my first book called From the Mouth, that's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, I cover education very, very in depth. We are ranked, our fifth graders tested 23rd in the world in education. For a country like America, that is not like podium material. If you don't come home with a trophy, don't come home. That's how I feel. So 23rd doesn't get you a trophy. It makes you, did you get in the game this week? Oh, you were on the bench? Okay. It's okay, buddy. Here's your ribbon for participation. We get participation trophies for our education, and that's a disgrace to our country. It's a disgrace to our kids, and it's a disgrace to our whole education system because of communists like Randy Weingarten. It's her fault. She screwed up our education system, along with whatever Cardona, the Secretary of Education. He's trash too. They work together to keep us from getting smart. They don't want us to get smart. It's an oppressive. Our education system is oppressive.
Having 3 kids. Well, speaking of oppressive, so Charlie would just like it be known that school is like jail. So just so everybody is aware, that's what he says. He's like, you only get a little bit of recess time, and our food is crap. It's like jail. That's what he says. But from a mom who has 3 kids that are in school, they range from 3rd to 6th grade. We are way too focused on testing. I'm just throwing that out there. We need to be more aligned with how we find the answers to questions and how we problem solve instead of being so focused about taking tests. Yes. Yeah. And your dad said Barry Satoro, by the way.
Barry Satoro.
Yeah. He texted me.
Big Mike Satoro.
Yeah.
It's a real name. But I agree with you. I think that testing, I mean, obviously we want them to test well, but if a kid can't figure out, if they can't problem solve something, the biggest thing that I use in my daily life, and I'm sure it's probably the same for you, Nicole, and probably the same for you too, Shauna, is I have to problem solve something all the time. And if I wasn't good at problem solving or grew up in a household where we had to problem solve, I'd be in trouble. I wouldn't do well in life. Mm-hmm. But I'm lucky because I grew up in problem solving. No, Shauna didn't.
No, she's like this. She's over your crap. She's not listening to you. She's letting you rant. She's out.
I didn't even say anything offensive that.
Confetti.
She sticks her tongue out like she's Miley Cyrus. Okay. She's making the confetti come down. She figured out that her camera can make confetti when she makes faces. Mine don't do that. I tried it. Mine balloons. I don't know. I don't know why hers does it and mine don't. I want balloons that fall on me. Did you know Donald Trump had the largest balloon fall in history?
Yeah, at the RNC. Or was it at his rally or RNC?
It was at the RNC.
Yeah, I watched that part. That I did watch.
Yeah. So Shauna looked like Donald Trump right there with balloons falling on her. With her blonde hair. She just needs to comb it over.
Comment. She don't like that comment. She don't like that.
Sorry. My tan is natural. I don't look orange. Sorry.
Oh shit.
But anyway, back into Kamala Harris's education plan. So she wants to increase Title IX or Title I, which sends money to schools serving higher shares of students from low-income families, which I'm not completely against because I do think that there is a need there. There's a need for help in low-income families because it's hard to keep good teachers in at-risk communities, so they tend to be the graph that falls behind. So we definitely want to improve that kind of scenario, so that'll help improve our overall education and allow kids the opportunity to get out of poverty basically on their own.
Yeah.
She wants to give more funding for Head Start. I'm not opposed to that. There's a lot of single moms out there that need that help. So those are 2 education things, does that really fall under? Yeah, because Head Start's preschool. So yeah, that does fall under education.
Yeah. And
so I'm okay.
They do.
Yeah. So I'm okay with those 2 policies, but it's nothing new. I mean, we're already trying to do those things. So this isn't anything new. She wants to have more DEI in schools for desegregation purposes, and give grants to support DEI. Now, DEI is such an overused acronym that we have forgotten what DEI means. The media ties DEI to racism every time, and it doesn't necessarily mean race. It could mean a number of things. It could mean your name's Jim Bob and you live in the hills of Hocking down in Southern Ohio and you live in a trailer with a dirt floor. That is a DEI candidate as well. There's many different types of demographic situations that qualify under DEI along with the LGBTQ community. So DEI is a lot more broad than what the media makes it out to be. There's a lot involved in that. However, I do not like DEI because DEI is like what I said, it creates segregation because you have to put these people over here in this group. These people, these people get to advance because of their situation, but yet this kid over here who's busted his ass and has a 4.2 GPA and he gets to graduate a year early, he gets bumped. And that's not how American education system is supposed to work. If you're excellent, you're excellent. Sorry. If you're excellent, you're excellent. To the front of the line you go. No matter what your color is, no matter if you're gay, lesbian, it doesn't matter.
Well, and to piggyback off that, like there's kids in there that don't do great with learning and have to work extra hard. So if you are one of those kids, I was one of them, I had to put extra effort into some subjects. That's accountability. Like you need to hold yourself accountable and work your ass off. If you want to go to Harvard, put forth the effort. You shouldn't get into Harvard just because you're this specific person, this specific ethnicity, whatever. You have to bust your ass. Like that's just point blank what it needs to be and what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, there are people out there that do not have that opportunity. Like I said, in at-risk communities where the level of educators is not as good. So there are exceptions. However, I think there's a better way to do that. I think we could still, get these kids into, secondary education systems, like community colleges and allow them to learn how to be successful educationally. And then allow them to work their way up. Kind of like how Ohio State has, if you don't have a 3.5 or better, you're not getting into Ohio State. They don't give a shit who you are, but they'll let you go to one of the branches. So where you go to Ohio State Lima or Ohio State Zanesville, and then you earn your GPA so you can get to the main campus and get to live the real Ohio State experience. I think we could do something along those lines where we allow that stepping stone, and it'll get these kids caught up educationally to where they can have a better chance of success. I think increasing the percentage of success for every kid in this country is the way to go. And creating DEI is just it's not the way to go, because kids are going to go, why do I try? Why do I even bust my ass? Because I'm just going to get bypassed because a lot
of it is too that these teachers are just really overworked and underpaid. So the environment created for them is not there either, because teachers don't want to be there. Like the teachers don't want to be there because it's like, okay, here's another day of basically a certified babysitter.
Yep.
Right.
They're making less than the garbage men. Like garbage men are like tier 1 government jobs, and they're making more than what teachers do. And that doesn't make sense when they're supposed to be there to educate and inspire kids. It's like it has to, like the environment itself has to change. That's the first thing.
Well, and teachers also get into it for the wrong reasons too. There's some people that get into it because they're like, oh, I get summer off and I get breaks off. Like this is great, but they don't care about the kids.
In Georgia, when I was in college, a lot of the girls were doing the early childhood programs, because in Georgia, if you go and get a early childhood education degree and you go to the schools that have problems with their testing, behavioral issues, anything like that, the state will pay your student loans off. So you don't even have to worry about those things afterwards. So I know a lot of people did it because of that as well.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I'm going to go and get the degree. They're going to pay for my student loan.
Who did that? Governor Kemp?
Nah, this is before Kemp. I think it was Purdue, whichever one. But no, this is way before Kemp. But
he's a Republican too.
A lot of that, a lot of
Sunny.
A lot of people got into it because of that as well. because
And
it's
that's
like
a
I
wrong
need to pay for
reason.
schooling. Yeah,
Yep.
and it's like I just need something to have something
Yep.
under my belt, and it's like I do know I get summer off. I'm going to get
Yeah.
certain things. Sorry, my background's loud, and so things of that nature. So it's just like you see a lot of that too, and then a lot of it too is a lot of these teachers are really young. They're 30
Yes.
teaching
Yes.
kids, and we're
Yeah.
also seeing a spike
Yeah.
in teachers sleeping with students. So I mean, you know,
Yep.
it's a lot of those things going on as well.
It's very toxic. I mean, and there
Right.
is ways that we could make the whole educational system, even for the lower poverty kids, because all kids should be able to have the capability and this situation where they can improve themselves. They can go to a better school. They can, and I support the ability to make it to where any kid can apply for any school, and that includes elementary. I think it's the Florida governor,
Yeah.
DeSantis, that has brought that up. And I've not really spent a lot of time researching it, but I do think that is something that other states should look into.
I know here in Georgia they have it where
Yeah. I mean,
where it
eventually you'll get
used
to pick your
be.
school.
I know it was like whatever county like you live in, like you're a resident of, but if that school like within those counties didn't make AYP, then you could outsource outside of your county and choose another school. But it's
Yeah.
specific situations like that. That's how I went to a Montessori elementary school. But the moment that I was supposed to go to middle school, my home middle school made AYP, so I had to go back to my district to do it. But by that time, I was in a whole different district.
Yeah.
They were behind in the district I was supposed to be in. I was a year and some change ahead, so I had to do a whole year where I had already learned all of these things. So I'm just sitting in class all day.
That's
because
crazy.
I didn't have a choice. Like I didn't have a choice. I had to go back to my district. They made AYP. So like things like that. And then like Georgia's school system just sucks altogether. Like DeKalb County, worst school system in Georgia.
She's like, go.
What?
It's just bad. Bad. A lot of money theft, things of that nature. So it's just bad all around. But it's like it's hard trying to like.
So they're not
by any means.
They're not prestigious like Grayson. Grayson's the most prestigious school.
Look at her face.
No, it's not. God. Here
I should go put my Grayson hat on.
It's the most prestigious school ever. Oh my God, please. You have no idea.
Like I've been here my whole life. I grew up. Listen, I'm a Raven through.
The person who is literally in this much of a radius
I don't even live
from
in
his
that
house
anymore.
never leaves, but he just knows everything.
She does have you there, Eric. I'm sorry.
I do. I know they're good at football. That's what I know.
And so is every Spalding County. Like, let's if you want to get into it, like they're not the only ones. They're just subpar compared to every other North Georgia school. They're okay. How many championships have they won? Like consecutively?
Well,
like,
Locust Grove's football team sucks.
Exactly.
Who? Grayson?
No.
They were national champions like in 2016. They were national champions.
You said Locust Grove sucks, and she agreed with you, is what she was saying. I got you, Shauna. It's good.
They all suck.
They are horrible.
I know somebody
They're
specifically
horrible.
who is a physician that used to be a physician for Henry County Schools athletic programs. They suck. Trust me. And the kids are lazy. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, Eagles Landing's basketball team was good this year.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't live in Georgia, so I cannot partake in this conversation.
You said what?
I don't live in Georgia.
Shaquille O'Neal's in Henry County. We should be good at basketball because Shaq's in our county.
So we're not even gonna.
Yeah, but you know who plays basketball for Grayson? Dominique Wilkins' kid. They won state in basketball. And he's going to University of Georgia next year. How about we start talking about sports? We're talking about Kamala Harris.
I have no idea. It's school oriented. That's how we got here.
Shaquille O'Neal.
And apparently
I'm Shaq.
Shaquille.
I'm 7'2".
Dude, I love Shaq. That's my man.
Yeah.
I'm a
If Shaq the
Henry
president,
County
I think
sheriff.
he'd have a better chance at getting it done.
I'm not gonna lie. I would vote for a. I would still have to have Trump in there, but if Shaq was his VP, I'd do that too. I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
I think he would definitely help with the homeless problem. He would help with education, and he would help with what's the word I'm looking for? Getting the country back on tip top shape with its money, because we struggling right now with this money.
Well, that's because Biden.
Yeah, then
I'm telling you.
Still,
well, Kamala's not going to do anything different.
No, and that's where
she don't know the economy.
That's where we need to completely just restart and try something new, because that whole continuing Biden's legacy ain't gonna work for anybody. It ain't gonna work for my pocketbook, and that's what I need to vote on.
She literally. So I'm going to go over her economic policy real quick, which is basically 1.5 note cards, because she has no policy. Literally, they even admit it. This was ABC News. She wants to end child poverty, promote labor unions, reduce the cost of health and child care, protect the retirements. That's not a plan. That's just stuff she wants to see happen. Like, she doesn't say, how are we going to get there? How are we going to accomplish this? What are you going to do with the taxes? Well, I'll tell you what she's going to do. Consumer prices have gone up 19.2% since the Biden administration took office. Did it get a 19.2% raise in the last 4 years? No,
Nope.
Me neither. So we're in the negative as far as our spending power. And that's a problem. And they want to keep lying and not tell us the truth. If they would just tell us the truth and say, look, we know you guys are underwater, but here's the things we're going to try to do to help get you guys out of this problem. We're not hearing that. They just keep lying to us and saying, oh, the economy's great. The economy's great. Look at the stock market. It's hitting record numbers. No, corporate America's making money. We're not. That's the problem. Then basically she's already said, I'm probably going to use Joe Biden's plan. Yay, 19.2%. I can't wait for the next 19.2%.
All right.
I'm going to be living in a van down by the river.
Her whole pitch is freedom, and yet everything that she's pretty much said is Joe's plan.
100%. Yeah.
So
right.
I find that hilarious.
Like, where's
Joe
the
Biden for
originality?
president. No, she ain't got it.
He's dead, I think. I'm pretty sure he's dead. So corporate tax. I'm going to talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the corporate tax rate real quick. So Donald Trump made it 21%. 21% is average for the world, okay? If you go look at everybody's corporate tax rate all over the world, Donald Trump is like 21% is in the middle of the pack. We're right where we should be. We're competitive there. So she wants to raise it to 28%. So that's a 7% increase that companies will have to pay in corporate tax. This is where liberals don't understand how corporate tax works. So when you raise it that much, that is if you're a company, let's say you're, okay, so 2024, this year, so far, the corporate profit is $2.7 trillion for all the major corporations put together, okay? So if you add that tax rate, you're going to pay over $500 billion in tax. So if you go, that was for 21%. If you go 28%, you're going to pay $750 billion in tax. So these companies are going to look at that and go, I'm losing $200 billion to Biden's tax plan, to Kamala's tax plan. That's a lot of money. And so they can go, well, let's go shop. Mexico is offering 20%. Move our plant to Mexico. That's what every company does. And every Democrat, Barack Obama did the same thing. He raised the corporate tax up. And then all of a sudden, Detroit goes bankrupt because all the auto industry moves to Mexico. It's the same mistake they make every single time because they want to go in there and they want to sell this we're going to steal from the rich guy and give it to the poor people because we're fucking Robin Hood. No, you're not. You guys are scamming America and you're making jobs leave. There. That's my soapbox moment on corporate tax rates, because liberalism is a disease when it comes to the economy every single time.
Or they're going to do what Starbucks is doing right now, where they've completely shifted our entire, like, how we do everything. Like, we have drive-through stores, cafe stores, and just only drive-through stores, and then we have just mobile order stores. But they've basically told us, all right, we've given you guys 6-7 raises since COVID. So we're not giving you as many people on the floor now because it's going to be too expensive to pay all of you guys for 7 people to be on the floor at a time. Managers, you're now going to have to take on more tasks that the store managers were only supposed to be doing. And store managers, now you're going to have more things that we need for you to do. And we don't care that you're capped off at salary. We still want you putting in an additional 15 hours a week. So,
100%. Because, that's what happens. You lose staff, and then your leadership, like your managers, your supervisors and stuff, have to take on those extra tasks that your people were doing that you've lost, because now you're being corporate taxed out the ass. It's just a continuous cycle, and then it creates a toxic environment, and then that's when you see people leaving, and then stores close down because they no longer have the people they need, and then people are going elsewhere. That's 100% correct, Shauna. That's exactly what happens. But Starbucks is the ones that were like giving out.
So quickly, I'm going to go through.
I also want to put out that Starbucks was one of the few companies like Amazon that was making billions during COVID. They opened 23 stores nationwide during COVID. Just putting that out there. Just saying. And created new products to sell in stores. So just putting it out there.
COVID coffee.
COVID coffee. Shut up,
COVID
Eric.
coffee.
Oh my god.
New flavor. A little hot tua in there.
Oh, I don't want to put it out there because I might get fired. But just letting everybody know, pumpkin spice season is coming up, baby. You guys are gonna love that fucking new drink's coming out. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not drinking that shit anyway.
Yeah. Look at your
it's
head.
Like liberal homeless people.
We don't need you drinking coffee. It's okay.
Hey, their refreshers are good.
I got a haircut today.
Have you had the bottled ones?
I have not.
They
Yet.
Taste just like the ones that you get from the store. From
really?
Like the actual coffees. Yeah, they do. I'm actually very surprised at Starbucks for that one.
My husband hates it because he's like, I don't know why you're paying for that shit. It's overpriced bull crap.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You can truly go and get you about the same that we pay for our machines. You can get you one like off the market and be making your own coffee at home. It's truly no reason for you to be buying Starbucks coffee. And just to let everybody know, Starbucks charges you to make your drink iced.
I did hear that.
It's a 55 cents charge. I don't know like everywhere else, but it is in Georgia. So just putting that out there, y'all.
I did hear that.
I'm a little mad with them right now, so I'm putting a few secrets out.
Here, let me put this out here. A fact about Starbucks. Here's my fact. You want to learn something about Starbucks? Their top shareholders: Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street.
Yeah, I knew about Vanguard. Yeah. Hey.
They're part of the system.
Well, everybody's
obviously.
Yeah. We're all part of the system.
That proves you're a spy, Shauna.
You said what? What did you say?
You're a spy.
I'm a spy? Nah. Oh, I could be.
No. Everybody at work thinks Shauna works for the CIA.
That's why she changes hairstyle.
It's because I'm a woman. It's because I'm a woman. That's why. I'm the only woman in the whole building. So, of course, I have to be a spy and work for the CIA because I'm a woman. That's why. It makes no sense other than that.
Oh my God.
Like she
Shut up, Nick.
came over to my house one time and like she had a rangefinder fall out of her pocket.
So she might be
What's up
stalking
with
an
that?
ex-boyfriend or something, or doing a side mission for a friend of hers.
No, absolutely not.
She said
That's
no.
That's what
No.
Matthew Thomas Crook said.
Oh
Not
God.
even doing that. Let me tell you something. Do you think that if I was a spy that I would be working at Starbucks? Nah, they're gonna have to pay me to be a spy. There's no way that no, nah. It would have to be real strict
Okay.
rules.
Well, why did you build a tree stand in my backyard?
Excuse me? Do I look like I'm doing that type of labor outside in South Georgia heat? And might I add, typically by your house, it's like 102 degrees? No, I'm not doing it.
You're trying to get high ground. High ground. She's trying to get high ground on me.
You're gonna lose your assistant if you don't shut up.
I already boarded up all my windows. You can't get me in the house.
It's okay. The cats will probably let me
She
in.
works
They
for the
hate him
CIA.
anyways. What he doesn't know is it's not me. It's the cats. They're just waiting for the perfect opportunity to murder him in his sleep.
It is
all
the
it is.
cats. I'm telling you, cats are psycho. Just
You're
saying.
probably right.
It is the cats.
I agree with
They've
I
you.
been
have one.
compromised a long
I
time
had to
ago.
shut the door because they're out there tearing up my house right now.
Yep. Nick will.
Okay.
Nick could go on for that.
Let's go through Kamala's crime plan very quickly.
To arrest
She's
everybody and extend their
Described as a
sentences.
top cop and progressive prosecutor. We're going to talk about that. She says she's tough on crime. In her second year of California's Attorney General, Harris fought to keep a man in jail after his defense attorney was disbarred, and two judges said that the dude wouldn't have been convicted anyway. But Kamala kept him in. Like, that should have been an automatic mistrial. Like, she's a dirty, dirty prosecutor or incompetent, one of the two. And we're going to hear more. So she supported criminalizing truancy in schools, which led to a black woman that was a mother. She got arrested for her daughter's truancy because she was receiving treatment for sickle cell. Ain't that messed up? For a stupid truancy.
That's still a thing, right? Your kids can't miss a certain amount of time or you go to court. It is 100% legit.
In Georgia, no, Georgia, they don't do court. They just come and pick you up. You go to jail. You go to jail. There is no, they don't do none of that. You're going to jail. I've seen it happen in high school. A mom was dropping her son off.
She's anti-death.
They took her.
So she's also anti-death penalty, but she's tried to push the death penalty in several cases. So make that make sense. She would not give early releases to inmates for nonviolent offenses because she needed them to fight the wildfires in California. That's the kind of trash that they're getting ready to vote for. People who violate, even if they were in jail, they're still human beings. You can't just use she was using them as slaves of cheap labor, because she said if we would have hired them out of jail, it would have cost us too much money and we wouldn't have been able to do it. So it's cheaper labor if I hire them from the jails. Like, you can tell that's in her bloodline.
But she's a woman. That's why we should vote for her.
She's a psycho.
She's a
I'm voting
black
for Montel
woman.
Williams.
She's a black woman.
And there goes the balloons. Yeah. I know.
I hate so much that the Divine Nine are backing her. I cannot stand that they're backing her. It very much upsets me that
But the
these
average
women are doing this.
Yep.
But you're seeing a lot of the all over TikTok. You see the average person in the black community is going, she ain't one of us. She don't get it. Like she can't do all the things that she did. Lock up. Huh?
It depends on what like social media outlet you're on. It depends. Because
I just saw
on Twitter,
I just saw Farrakhan back Trump.
But Farrakhan, see, I told you I put you on a Farrakhan. I told you he's a very smart man. Farrakhan though is a very
I watched him.
He's a very he's a realist. Farrakhan is a realist, and he knows that Kamala is evil. She not. Oh God, I cannot believe so many people are just like wanting to really vote for this one. Like I just can't believe it. It's appalling to me. The amount of black people that's like, I'm gonna back her. She's gonna be a black woman, the same woman who didn't claim to be black, but she went to Howard University and is a part of a black sorority. Make it make sense. But you're not black. She was the first Indian senator. Like, make it make sense. I can't.
So she will use whatever title gets her the votes.
Oh yeah. Speaking of DeKalb County, so there is an organization there called Just Leadership USA. The CEO of that organization is a lady named Deanna Hoskins. So she put out a statement about Kamala Harris and said that she uses dehumanizing language towards Trump, which reflects to other Americans, such as offender, inmate, felon, convict, that she does not like that language, and it's offensive towards a lot of people in DeKalb County. And then, of course, she was, raising money for that the Minnesota Freedom Fund during the riots. That was a whole other problem. But so that was a big deal. But that's basically her criminal justice reform. Nothing too exciting there. She doesn't really have a plan on how to make adjustments. I've been up and down in my belief system my whole life, and take it or leave it. Let's see what tomorrow brings. That's what you're getting with Kamala Harris. Let's see what tomorrow brings. I may do something different. So I don't like the inconsistency. I don't like not knowing that she doesn't have a plan, and I can't look at it and go, okay, that makes sense, or okay, that doesn't make any sense.
She's pretty much going to continue on.
I don't understand how liberals can look at her platform and which was a failure. So I don't understand her ideology behind that when you're going to jump on board with something that's already failed. And once this honeymoon period ends and people start seeing her platform, her poll numbers will start going down.
I don't think the poll numbers are as high as what they're saying anyway. I think they're just trying to push it because she's saying that she is a black individual and she's a woman. That's pretty much the only selling points at this point, is why the media is trying to shove her down everybody's throat. And then, of course, everybody's going to piggyback on it. You got some men out there that like
Netflix. Netflix just lost $2 billion in 24 hours.
Yep.
For supporting Kamala Harris.
We were just talking about that.
Go woke, you go broke.
Yeah, we were talking about canceling it, but it's like, damn, do I wait till Cobra Kai this part 2 comes out or what? It's that Cobra Kai.
Yeah, but if they start losing money, then the writers of Cobra Kai are going to move. They're going to want to move to a different streaming service. Because it is a popular show. But people won't sell out. They won't sell out just to watch Cobra Kai. I'll guarantee you Dad cancels Netflix.
Oh, 100%. Nick and I were talking about it. I ain't
watching that. They support Kamala Harris.
I know people that's already done it.
I'm not giving my money to Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Netflix. I don't have any of the Disney ones either.
We have the Disney Plus because it's free with the Hulu subscription. But
I canceled my Disney Plus.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had to get rid of Disney.
Good girl. They was gonna kidnap your kids when you go to Disney. Anyway.
You know I'm going to Florida next month, and everybody keeps asking me, "Are you going to Disney?" Absolutely not. What's wrong with you people?
Nope.
Right. Might as well just go to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
If I mean, really, truthfully,
Same thing.
Pretty much.
They get busted all the time at Disney. There's always like some kind of trafficking ring going on there all the time.
Yep.
They got an FBI office at Disney. Disney FBI missing persons report. Missing persons edition.
Sad. It's ridiculous.
But they work for Joe Biden, so it's okay. They send them down to Guatemala to Joe Biden's little trafficking foundation. It's true. You can Google it and find it.
This is why you get shadow banned.
I was getting ready to say this is why nobody sees your shit.
He can't help it. He can't help it. But this is exactly why he gets shadow banned all the time.
Yep. You use those trigger words, Eric. You need to find.
I do. I get shadow banned all the time. I have a permanent TikTok ban.
Oh, it's permanent now?
TikTok will not allow me to market anything on their site. I have a permanent TikTok marketing ban.
The Chinese said, absolutely not. We're not doing this. Yep. No.
I was wondering how long that would take.
The red panda's coming for me.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, Twitter shadow banned me the other day, but I'm back now.
Well, I did hear Facebook's trying not to do that.
So far, YouTube's they've been not loyal.
But see, the reason why Facebook isn't going to do that because that was a big thing.
Oh no, I saw them censor.
Facebook's not gonna do it because then that means you have to go and censor all the racist stuff that happens on Twitter on Facebook as well. They're not going to do that because then it would be you're taking away from people's amendments and their ability to speak, their speech. Right. So they're not going to do that. Facebook's not going to do it.
Yeah, I will be honest. Like so far, I've seen a lot more like conservative things this election versus last election. So I know that they're trying not to get into that too much. Mark Zuckerberg even came out and said that he's trying not to. He don't want to get into that. Because,
he said Trump's a badass.
He did. And it could kill him to say it too. You knew his face. He was like, man, it's true. But he was a badass.
Oh, I heard him. You could tell. He was like,
oh, yeah. His face.
Trump is a badass.
He's like, I don't want to admit it.
50 Cent. Like 50 Cent should run for president with Trump.
Hey, don't play 50 Cent or you said something about doing it.
I think 50 should be 50 Cent should be director of the CIA.
Could he be our what is it? The defense? He gonna have a
Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, Department of
Defense. The man was shot 20 times. I mean, I think he can come up with good plans.
9. True. Fact check. He got shot 9 times.
And him and Trump would be on the same page of fuck around and find out when it comes to the other countries. Because we've all seen 50 Cent does not care. He just unloads the entire clip. Yeah. So I think it would be a good matchup. I think it would. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he'd definitely retaliate. Definitely.
We called it right here on the Expendable Show.
Start putting civilians in those spots.
Defense Secretary.
Yep. I'm telling you.
Honestly, if they did, they would probably get more people to actually sign up for the military.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I could see that. Put it like on the banner, 50 cents.
Like they'd be like, we had to turn people away. It's too many people trying to sign up.
Yeah, everybody wants to go to war with 50.
Heck yeah. Because I mean, we do have to give the man credit. He wears a
50.
bulletproof vest well. So
whatever 50 tells me to do, I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck around with 50. 50s. He's like in his 50s too, isn't he? He's in his 50s.
If not, he's very close.
He's up there.
Sure. Yeah.
He's older than me. He's older than me,
You
and
say
I'm
he's
25.
older than you? Okay. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
But that is going to be it for the show. This is like an hour and 30-minute long show, the longest and probably the greatest of all time. The greatest.
You need to have us on more often, Eric. We make the show.
And we're going to end the show. Everybody.
Fuck yeah.
Huh? What?
Balloons.
There's the balloons.
I said you need to have us on the show more often
I was trying to
because
see
we
if
make
it's
the
going to do
show.
confetti.
No, it's been doing the balloons.
Oh, man. Typically, it does the confetti. I don't know what it's doing today. It's balloons today. All right.
All right. Everybody be safe out there while the girls are playing with balloons. Be safe. Know where your kids are at. Have a good time. It's pouring down rain here in Locust Grove, Georgia, but it's like 97 degrees outside. So everybody be safe. And we'll catch you on Wednesday unless something drastic happens and I get mad about something. All right. See ya.